Our top story, of course, is coming in from Washington, D.C., where Prime Minister Narendra Modi has kicked off his three-day visit to the United States, his fourth since he assumed office in 2014. Remember, this is the seventh and probably the last time he will be holding bilateral talks with President Barack Obama, who is going to demit office after the November elections. Now, upon arriving, Prime Minister Modi first visited the Arlington National Cemetery, visuals of which you're seeing on your screen right now, where he laid a wreath. He also attended a meeting of the heads of U.S. think tanks. This entire visit, three-day visit, assumes additional significance as the Prime Minister will be addressing the U.S. Congress for the first time. This 11 years after the U.S. Congress, remember, cancelled his U.S. visa. Prime Minister Modi will be the fifth Indian Prime Minister to address a joint session of the US Congress, and the main focus of this trip is wide range. It goes from securing the NSG membership to military cooperation agreements, to the purchase of nuclear reactors, to defense engagements, to trade, manufacturing and job issues. Namrata Brar is following this high-profile visit by Prime Minister Modi to Washington, D.C. He joins us. Namrata, you know, it's not a state visit, but going by the visuals we're getting from Washington, one could be convinced that it is one. But, you know, apart from all of this, seriously, tell us, top US and Chinese officials were supposed to meet in Beijing yesterday for their annual strategic dialogue, in which the US was to persuade China, or at least try to persuade China to lift its blockade on India's entry into the nuclear suppliers group. How has that proceeded?
Sarah, yes, you're right on the rolling the red carpet bit. It is not officially a state visit, but certainly the optics and visuals justify that, as well as the fact that they point to a very relaxed Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Is clearly used to Washington, this being the seventh interaction between the two leaders, and we do know about their hundreds of numerous phone calls. Going back to the specifics on the NSG, yes, India is trying to use the Obama administration and Washington to lobby its case with China, but you have to understand that it's not high on the US wish list when it comes to the negotiations with China. In fact, I have sources who've told me that Washington's negotiations on the ground in Beijing with China haven't gone down all that well. That's the strategic economic dialogue between US and China, which has just concluded, where John Kerry, Jack Lew and some of the senior officials, including Michael Froman from the trade side, were present. US pushing the case for China's industrial glut, warning it again, cautionary messages on the South China Sea. And that's really been the refrain going out. How high is India's leadership and membership into the NSG group? How high is that on the US priority list? And the indications that I'm getting is that it is not as high that India would want it to be.